Hello, everybody. Assalamu alaikum and greetings to everyone all over the world. I am Nizal Muhammad, and this is International Affairs on NIZAL and Co., the new Millennium Avant-Garde online variety talk show all the way from Malaysia. All right, today we'll be talking about something very important, at least to many of the Muslim world, if not the whole world, because it represents the economic strength of the Muslim world in particular. And I have I am very fortunate to have with us today someone who is well versed of this particular economic bloc. So without further ado, my friends all over the world, I wish to introduce to you our guest for tonight or today, that is none other than Dato JAAFAR SHAARI, the Secretary General of D8. Assalamualaikum, Dato.
Waalaikumsalam, Saudara Rizal.
Yes, yes, you look smashing. Great to meet you again. The last time we met, I remember I met you in somewhere in August or September 2018 when you just headed the D8 for about 8 months or so, more than 8 months or so. So that was the first time I met you in person talking about D8, right? I interviewed you for the particular Malaysian business magazine, and it was a very interesting discussion, really, for me. And we touched so much of your thoughts and aspiration for D8. Now, before we go on further, just for the sake of those who might not have the luxury or the opportunity to know about D8, if you can briefly explain to any one of them what D8 is all about, so that we can have a general idea of it for those who might be new to D8. Dato.
Thank you very much, Nizal, for giving me this opportunity to be interviewed by you the second time, of course, but in a different form.
Yeah.
I'm happy, to be part of this very important and interesting program, and you give me this chance to explain about the organization that I'm now heading, called the Eighth Organization for Economic Cooperation, that is based here in Istanbul. Alhamdulillah, and I think today the snow came down again. I think is a good day, certainly. A blessing from God, I suppose.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay. The aid organization, of course, was established in 1997 from the idea of the former Prime Minister of Turkey, Professor Dr. Najmuddin Erbakan. And officially it was then established on 15th of June 1996 with the participations of leaders from 8 member countries, and that include the Prime Minister of Malaysia at that time, Tun Dr. Mahathir, and the present chairman going to be Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, and President Suharto, President Rafsanjani, Prime Minister from Egypt, and so on. And when we establish it, they decide, that this should be focused only on economic matters, economic cooperation. And they decided also to start focusing on few areas of cooperation as a beginning. 6 areas were identified. One is in trade, then second in industry, third in agriculture and food security, then in transportation, then in tourism, and also in energy sector. Well, it has been established now for about 24 years. We implemented a few programs. We came out with a different platform, and the idea, the objective of the organization is just to pursue this noble idea of having faster economic growth among the 8 member states, as well as looking at uplifting the standard of living of the D8 citizen. So I think that in brief I can share first.
Right. Now, maybe if you can also share, I believe one of the things, because I may repeat some of the questions that I gave you when we met 4 years ago, more or less. I believe one of the biggest challenges that you had to face in your um, in the early years until now to get is actually to get the member states to break away from a governmental mindset and and um, and work orientation to a more private driven action based work mode. So how is it now? How did it fare? What's the state of affairs now in the case of that kind of orientation that you want to establish amongst the member states?
Yes, this is a very interesting question, and I'm very happy to share my thought about it and what we did in the last 3 years in order to change again first mindset, the sense of ownership, responsibility, commitment, and so on, changing completely the way we work at the secretariat, changing completely, the method of doing, of reaching out to people, and so we decided. I decided, in fact, when I came to look at three areas that should go simultaneously in parallel to one another. Uh, the failure before, I'm not saying that there is a failure, though this is an intergovernmental organization, and as many other organizations, of course, we have a lot of challenges and problem, even sometimes conflict within the organization. But we look at the positive part of it, and we say to us, okay, we have done all the established all the platform, we have done all the talking. Now is action time, implementing period, and therefore we try to complete the whole work in completing the sectoral cooperation first. I look at it, and what I did was to inject into the minds of all my staff and officers, we have to change, we have to be much more efficient. So, and I told them the first thing that while we are intergovernmental organization as normal, we would be dealing with some delays, some problem, some funding issues, and whatever. We have to create a kind of a new creativity, innovation, so that we will not be depending too much on government. We have to change our position toward engaging more with private sector, with community, with people who would love to be with us. So reaching out was very important. So I say we have to reach out. We have to go direct to the people, of course, through the government at the same time, but it has got to go in tandem with this objective. So I changed the slogan. I say now ED8 is an action result oriented organization.
Mhm.
That we would have to work something like a corporate body, maintaining good relations with government and reaching out to new people and doing things and proving through project implementation. It's not only about talking, having it in declaration and whatever. So we have to prove within the 3 years. We have to come up with a project on the ground. So that's the way we are changing, and I think it's happening. And I can see the level of commitment is changing drastically from member state. We receive very good support from the government. We receive very good support directly from agencies concerned. We are talking directly to them, and Alhamdulillah, I hope that we will be able to continue with this process. Yes, so that's perhaps the answer that I can give to you.
Well, fine and good, because some of the information that I got from the internet and from the news sources that I received, I mean, you're more visible than before. So I would give you a credit for that, Dato. But how? But is it still? Some of our people around the world might not see yet, or rather the visibility of D8 in the context of economy for not just the member states but for the world. So how do you think things must be, and how can it be rectified?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is very important question also, and this is another area that I've given focused. Uh, the two areas that I've given focus was not only the sectoral cooperation, but we go all out in reaching out to international organization, to United Nations body, because our objective also is reaching the SDGs. So therefore, we met friends almost with the UN Secretariat. We have direct contact with them. We go and visit them. They come and visit me. I go to Geneva. I talk to all the Director General, Secretary General of all the bodies, and we are now being appointed as a good partners.
Yeah.
UNCTAD, WTO, Customs are all good friends to us now.
Good.
We are designing a few programs already with them, and this is a
Fantastic.
new idea. Then come to the question of visibility, publicity wise, and I also then I appointed a press officer to deal with this issue, and we monitor every person that is trying to connect to us to see how best that we can go up drastically. I was very disappointed when I first came. When I look at my website, I was laughing at it. Of course, I said we need to change because there were a lot of complaint even from our member state.
Yeah.
And then we were busy only maybe talking to a small group of people, but not really going all out. So what again, we started to go using every social media kind of instrument. So we are in Instagram, we are in YouTube, we are in Facebook, we are Twitter, we are in anything beside our website. We reach out, we sign agreement. I sign agreement with Anolu Agency. Anolu Agency being one of the biggest news now is supporting us. Every news, they follow us everywhere. We are working here with TRT World as well. They are helping us. And I signed agreement also with Nigeria news agency that is covering the part of Africa. And at the same time, we maintain good contact with all our news agencies. And I make myself busy by going to give lecture to universities, to organization, and whatever. I participate in all the big conferences throughout the world. Just so that you have one organization called the Aid. Of course, they would be asking me what the Aid is all about. Of course, you have to explain that. This today also, I have my news in the Anadolu agency and all over Turkey in different news about my comment. At least listen to, they want to hear at least our view as well in the Anolo agency and some other newspaper when we were talking about in the International Financial Center to be established by T. So they look at the aid as part of the provider for some good news now. So Alhamdulillah, we increased and our followers now, surprisingly, coming from developed countries. Not from the developing countries. So American, we have millions now followers. In Japan also, we have close to 1 million followers. In UK, and we are now being visited because of this group, not only from member state, but from UK, from Europe, even from free that wants to work with us. So we are changing this way. Yes, thank you.
So you become very popular now, Dato.
I cannot say that.
Now, look at some people are saying this. People have this notion that all these countries, the D8 member states, with the exception of Malaysia, are listed as the most populous Muslim countries. Though Malaysia is not in the list, but it is widely considered as a Muslim country. Now, it is as if the D8 is created for the Muslim nations, when it actually, in actual fact, it is not. So, can you clarify this for those who might be, might be missing the point of what the A is all about when it comes to the Muslims and the world?
Yeah, let me go back to the history of the establishment of the group. It started with a conference organized by the Erbakan at that time, and the topic was something like uh, uh, cooperation for our development. That's it. And he invited, leaders from a number of countries, but these 8 countries then responded. And at that conference, they think time has come for a group to talk about economic matters, social and economic matters. And then they decided not to talk about politics. Of course, they established, 6 principles about democracy, dialogue, operation, equalization of the standard, the level of partnership, and things like that. And that was the beginning. And when they established it, they decided that any country can be a member of the eight. It's not necessarily Muslim country, but it happened when they first started it. The member countries then responded positively to this idea. In our charter, it says very clearly that any country in the world can apply to become a member of the eight, provided that they are a member of the United Nations. That's it, period. And what they need to do is just to write to the Secretary General, and the leaders will decide whether to accept. In fact, now we are now talking about expanding the eight group. And there are interested countries that have been knocking at our door asking how to become a member and so on. And also, for your information, under that charter, we applied to be the observer of United Nations. So we are an observer of the United Nations as well.
Fantastic. Well, let's have a break for a while, and we'll come back
Yes.
again, and we'll continue our discussion because there's so many things I need to question you as a person who is well versed with D8 in this era. So we'll have a break now, and we'll come back after this. Don't go away. Yes, we are back again on International Affairs on NIZAL and Co. And from you, for all of you who might be new to this is a new Millennium Avant-Garde online variety talk show all the way from Malaysia. And we have with us today Dato JAAFAR SHAARI, the Secretary General of D8. And he has explained at length what the 8 is all about. Now I would wish to talk about something to do with between the member states. If you can see, the member states that are in this group, you're in a very unique situation, heading an economic coalition where there is a kind of silent tension in terms of relationship between a couple of the member states. Now, how do they go about working together in this period of the 8 when politically they are, it's like a cold war between them? So, can you explain to us, Dato?
I expect this question to come from me.
Always, always.
Okay, I think as I mentioned just now, when the establish this organization, it was only for the economic kind of development. We try not to talk politics at all, although there will be attempt for one or two members, to raise one or two issues between them. Some may have some bilateral problem issues. Some may be having conflict on the international issues. But how we do it, this is interesting. Number one, when I came here, I developed this idea of a sense of ownership, that the countries must feel strongly about owning this organization. You cannot leave entirely to the secretariat to do it. You have to have that kind of commitment. Changing that mindset is number one important. Number two, well, some people take it as a joke, but well, in a joking way, I used to go and meet with the ministers and leaders, and I tell them, we have to have our slogan, and the slogan is about helping one another. So I take this slogan from. I'm sure Nizal will be happy to hear this. You must be a fan of Three Musketeers before. So I take that slogan. I move on. I say, we have to do it, one for all for one.
All right.
Because we know the situation in member state. And I learned also this concept when President Trump was promoting the idea of having coalitions of the willing. So I said, if they are able to do that, we should be able to have something using the term cooperation of the willing. And cooperation of the willing means that even if you do not have quorum, and quorum here means 5 member states agreeing to do something. If we have 2, 3 member countries agreeing to proceed with the project, they can proceed with the project. Others will just keep quiet, don't do anything, don't block the idea. When they are able to join, they will join us. So that will allow us, to proceed with some project that will not have enough quorum. And this is accepted, as a mean. We only talk a bit about humanitarian issues because that also is in our domains of cooperation. But it is related also to economic way of helping the humanitarian people or needs in that sense. And I can see changes of complete behavior. And I can sense also the desire of leaders now to start talking to one another in a different level and at a different platform. So there is this initiative to patch up with the conflict, and you can see clearly, and the trend is changing now that we can see visit in particular of this 8 member country. They would give more priority to the members of the eight. So I'm happy to mention that, because we can see the changing kind of attitude and level of participation.
Dato, can you give us some specific collaboration between them that might not be known by the public? People are seeing,
Yeah.
for example, Egypt and Turkey as at loggerheads, and having Iran on board also was and still is an issue for some amongst the member states. So how do they go about living together, all for one, and one for all? Dato, can you please some insight? How does it work? Because all over the world, they don't see. I mean, people see them as they are enemies in silent, or in a silent war. But in actual fact, on some level, at some level, they're not. So maybe you can shed some light onto this at all.
Yeah. Yes, yes, a very good question. Yeah, you mentioned something like Egypt and Turkey. I want to quote something that we are doing right now. Of course, one, I think there is an effort now to patch up, to mend the relations between the two countries, which is a very good positive development. Number two, as I mentioned earlier, we give importance to economic, cooperation, and in that sense, Turkey and Egypt continue to make even progress in their intra-trade relation. There's no stopping in continuing with this effort. And I'm now initiating one project. We plan to establish D8 special zone or D8 industrial zone in all member states. And now we are talking to a company from Turkey as a developer that has developed 5 economic zones in Egypt. And these 5 economic zones are very successful. And they are
Mm.
going to even establish another one in Egypt. So we talk, and at the same time, I give more priority to the private sector. We established our D8 chambers of commerce and industry, and they are working closely between all the chambers of commerce and industry of member state. We are talking to one another. They are comparing notes and things like that. And through these D8 chambers of commerce, we have a meeting all the time, and we would stress this. And we can see even they are talking, to one another in a very positive, very encouraging manner, ready to work together closely. So we put that episode, whatever we say, aside, and we say we don't talk politics. Let's discuss economic matter that will benefit or that will bring mutual benefit to the member countries.
All right. I think I've touched too much on international relations and people at loggerhead. I'm talking now about all for one and one for all kind of spirit that you have. I mean, having you on board, Dato, I must say, has made a lot of changes to the way D8 is functioning. And this, I would give you, I know you don't like good things said about you, but I have to give you credit there. Now, this is based on our interview. Now, I'm going to ask you one by one what you have said in our interview in Malaysian business, on Malaysian business, and I would like to know the development of those things that you have said, because some of those that you have said is now already in progress and functioning. So let's begin with this one thing that I feel it's quite interesting for you to establish one particular university called D8 International University of all places in Iran. So can you give us an explanation of this, Dato?
Sure, sure. Thank you very much. We just established this university in Hamedan, a place where Ibn Sina was born and was laid to rest, close to that. And the 8 International University is part within the complex of Abu Ali Sina University in Hamedan. But we have our own complex now. We are in the process of building our own complex, supported by Ministry of Science and Technology of Iran. And uh, we tried at last few summit. They were talking about establishing it, but when I came, so I said, and I visited Iran. I went to see the university, and I endorsed it. I said we cannot delay the process of establishing it, and we established it. I think few months after my visit. So Alhamdulillah, now we have a board of trustee. We have our rector. We have our own complex. We have our lecturers. We decided the programs that we want to do, mostly in the area of science, technology, innovation, in engineering, medical, and economic matters. And Alhamdulillah, we are now even to an extent that the Ministry of Science and Technology of Iran is offering even scholarship now to students that will be sponsored by them for those who want to come and do masters and PhD program. Right now, we are in the process of recruiting our masters and PhD program, where we task member state to nominate like 5 from each member state to be given the scholarship. Alhamdulillah, I think we have restarted the university. We have been talking years about the university. Now we establish it, and I don't know whether I can also continue. And part of that was my idea when I came here, that in order for organization to move forward, you need to bring intellectuality into that. So the
Mm-hmm.
International University was established to provide this kind of capacity. At the same time, I didn't stop at that. We just established in last 2 months something called the 8 Network of Pioneers for Research and Innovation. And
Mm-hmm.
this is an establishment of an organization of now 26 top universities in the 8 member states. This is official already. and we have five
Mm,
universities from Malaysia that will participate, actively. So we established a council also among these university, including even our agency like MTDC
mm,
that will be a member. We have also one agency from Turkey in science and technology area. We have D8 Chambers of Commerce Industry. We have IDB as our partner there. We have D8 International University, and we have this Islamic World Science Citation Center based in Iran that provide work for our journal because they do it for all Muslim countries. I visited them. We signed agreement with them, so they will
mm,
provide the capacity. The idea is to go into research and development. So it's not only about establishing a university. So we are creating, a platform for universities, for research centers, different institutions to start sharing the knowledge and having the experience learning and start to look at creating our own technology. The desire is great now for all member states to say that I think time has come for us to develop our own capacity in technology, in innovation, and so on. So this is something that even goes greater than establishing the D8 International University.
mm. Actually, you have answered my follow-up question, because I was about to ask you, how do you create collaboration, cooperation amongst the universities and the good thinkers and innovators of D8? So you have already answered that question for me. Thank you very much without me asking it. All right, now let's go to something that is more very much D8, because you created this idea called D8 designated airports, Dato. So can you share with us how has it developed now?
Yes, when we started this idea, we have a very active kind of cooperation in the civil aviation. So this sector, I can say, is perhaps the most active sector in the aid. So we have a lot of cooperation, and I decided because we were talking about our visa agreement to cater
Mm,
for business travelers. And
mhm,
yesterday we had our visa senior official meeting, and we also discussed about how can we connect one another, how can we provide this facility to the traders, to the business people. And so we are talking about visa simplification and facilitation and so on. And a good thing about this is that we need to work with the airport, then with the idea that we can use the facility at the airport, the
mhm,
custom facility, the special lane facility, the conference room, the center that we can establish some business activities there, and some promotional activity. Therefore, I need the airport, and we need to provide connectivity. And in our tourism also discussion, we create something called Crescent Moon Initiative
mm,
for connectivity. We want to see more traveling, more connection between member state through transportation, air transportation, maritime transportation, land transportation, and so on. So everything now is coming into like an ecosystem. So the international airport or designated airport was created, and to make it easy, we have Sabiha Gökçen Airport in Istanbul on the Asian side, and that is belong to a Malaysian company. So it
oh,
was quite easy for me to talk to them, and by getting the support of the Turkish government, so that was the first designated airport that we created. We signed agreement
mm,
with them, and they agreed to provide all the facility. We are talking even of creating our D8 lounge there.
oh,
Presenting all the menu from all the member state, for example, with
mhm,
culture from member state, putting up a kiosk about member state. And we have now, Alhamdulillah, officially we have got three airport, Sabiha Gökçen. We have international Jinnah Airport in Karachi, Pakistan. In fact, in Karachi, they have already created a special lane for the D8 citizen. Uh, and Nawakindi Airport in Abuja, in Nigeria. And yesterday, during the meeting, we are very happy that Indonesia has offered us Jakarta International Airport to be our D8
Wow,
designated airport. I'm still
fantastic.
waiting for Malaysia to give me the airport. I hope
I
Kuala
think they're
Lumpur can give
hearing.
it to me.
I think they're hearing you loud and clear, Dato. But okay, when you're saying that these designated airports are D8 designated airports, what does it constitute for those who are from the D8 countries? What would they get from establishing from this the establishment of the D8 designated airports, Dato?
Yeah. Yeah, the idea, as I said, is just to tell that later on we will be able to establish an association of airports where we will work closely on every aspect of airports matters. It's not only about traveling. It's not only about things. And I'll come to also later. I will not, deliberate on this issue, the D8 payment card that we are trying to create to
Yeah, yeah,
replace the new idea of
right.
D8 Visa card.
Yes,
So
save the
this
best for
is
last.
right. Save the back that for you your question then.
All right. Now, okay, we have. I mean, you already touched on tourism, which I was about to ask. So some of the questions I want to ask, you have already answered all that. Now, let's talk about something more economical or something to do with economy. Now, you have mentioned before that there is this drive to use local currency in one-to-one trading amongst member states. Would you mind explaining to me whether is it still on or is not yet or is in the process? I don't know. So can you give some shed some light here?
Yeah, this idea came about at the last summit, the ninth summit, when Honorable President Erdogan made in his statement about time has come for us to start using our national currencies. So he was urging all member states to design a project that will enable us to use our local currency. Because the first project that we were talking, we are now working with the Central Bank of Turkey to establish a clearinghouse. And some member states say you can proceed, but because we have got existing system, we will not participate. So we have got now
Okay.
at least five member countries who are ready to establish the clearinghouse to use our national currencies. And the second one is, of course, it should not come only from the government. I thought we have to work with the private sector. So when this company, fintech company from Malaysia, read that statement and they came and offered us. They came to me. They say, Dato, we look at the statement. I think we can do it. So I said, okay, let's develop a concept. So we sat down. I had a few meetings with them, a long meeting to see how can we establish it. And then this idea came that then we have to establish what a special card called D8 P card or D8 payment card system to use the local currencies as well as to start promoting gold as a saving.
Mm,
So, and this is of course for business transaction when we create it, and we develop, and now it is in at I think at the end of the process. Of course, we will not be able to launch it yet, though we plan to launch it. But we are going to
yes.
have a soft launch just to introduce this card first to the world, then completing the whole regulatory matters and licensing and whatever. And we have been talking to the central bank of a member state, and we receive a very positive support. And we are developing also platform through under this card to provide facility for university students, for Hajj people, for migrant workers to send money using local currency to their country, for example, and also at the same time encouraging citizens of D8 to uh, buy and redeem it where they will be able to automatically have a saving in a gold bar at a bank that we are going to appoint. So of course it's going to be private banking system, and so this is the idea. And
All right.
Alhamdulillah, latest we receive, in fact, they receive, requests from interested party, not only from member state, but even from non-member state, big country who want to partner with this card. So I cannot reveal it, because this is still at the technical level of discussion. But say is still alive and moving, to end soon, inshallah. Hopefully by next year we can launch it. Then you can have a card. I can order one card for you,
That's
inshallah.
compulsory. That's compulsory. I must be one of the first. Now, speaking of which, we now I mean we have to come to the next inshallah our next leg of our discussion. So we'll take a break because there are. In fact, the more I talk to you, the more the tons and tons of questions coming in my mind. So never mind. We just take a break and we'll come back to continue many things that I need to know about from you about what's in store at D8. All right, we'll take a break and we'll come after this. Stay tuned.
Yes,
So
yes,
we're
yes.
back you're back with us on international affairs on Nizal and Co. And we have been talking at length about D8, and I've been talking to none other than Secretary General, His Excellency Dato JAAFAR Kushari. Dato, let's talk about something exciting for the business world. You have established this thing called D8 Chamber of Commerce and Industry. What does that mean in the context of private companies all over the member states of D8?
Yeah, was one commissioner for Malaysia for the eight in the year 2001 to 2003. I attended a lot of meetings. At that time, there was an initiative coming from Egypt to establish private sector kind of organization, and it did not happen. Though a lot of discussion, years of discussion, but nothing happened. And
Mhm.
in our charter, it says very clearly about the participation of private sector, because without private sector we cannot move on. And since then, the organization was talking a lot about establishing the eight, either chamber of commerce industry or union or something like that, business
I see.
council. But they seem to have a lot of issue, about fees, how much that you have to pay fees, who are going to be chairman and whatever. So there's always a conflict among member states, even
As
among the
usual.
private sector. So when I came, I said, please put a stop to it. And at that time, during the discussion, normally Secretariat will not be involved. And I said, I will send my man. This time around, we will chair the meeting. We will tell you what to do. And Alhamdulillah, we go there, we decide. One is that there's no fees, resolve issue. No fees. Number two, the chairman will move along with the chairmanship of the eight. So whoever become the chairman of the eight organization,
Mm.
then the president of the chambers of that member country will become the chairman of the eight chambers of commerce.
Ah, okay.
So then we
Sort
are
of.
able to establish our statute, our assembly. We have our president, we have our secretary general, and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And now TOP, which is the Union of Chambers and Commerce of Turkey, is the chairman, and they're going to hand over to Bangladesh at the summit level. And since then, we have been very active. We work directly with it, and I start telling them, you cannot just you work as you please. So you have to send a report to me. We will tell you what to do and whatever.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, there seems to be working very positively, and we have now direct connection with all our chambers of commerce. Alhamdulillah, yes.
Fantastic, fantastic, Dato. I'm getting overexcited with all this happening in D8 actually. Now, Dato, one more thing that I wish to ask you is about this particular idea and now possibly become a reality of what you term it as creative economy and finance center for D8, which is something interesting, bold, and refreshing as far as I am concerned. But can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, the idea came from this desire and request from many member countries for us to start looking into Islamic way of doing things. So we're talking about halal, we're talking about Islamic banking, we're talking and Islamic banking. Of course, we introduced it those days. Now it become very popular in all member states, very successful. But there seems to be no platform at all developed since then, after the Islamic banking. And what happened then, I was invited by Indonesia to be a speaker at the World Conference on Creative Economy. I
Mm-hmm.
went there, I give my view, my idea, and I look at it, and you have like 53 countries now that become members of this Creative Economic Association, and they're talking about it. And I think the next one they're going to have it in Dubai, and very interesting idea. But the way I see it, they were focusing a lot on the handicraft issues, more into a cultural thing. To me, creative economy should encompass a different thing, right from a small thing to big thing in terms of education, in terms of technology, in terms of finance, in terms of every aspect. So I give my opinion like that. And I thought if we don't do that, we don't take this advantage of this idea, then there's no point. So to give an answer to the call by the member state, so we created this, and we talked to this group from Malaysia, and they came to see me, and then I said, okay, we can sign the statement of intent, to allow you to start, talking to relevant parties, in particular the relevant ministries. So the idea is that we should work as a private sector initiative, but with the enabling coming from the government. So government agencies might be involved in it. We have to create
Mm-hmm.
it for the benefit of both the government, the private sector, the community, the investors, people at large. It will cover the whole range of receiver.
Mm.
And Alhamdulillah, the idea is that I look at the Islamic way of doing things, and to use the strength of Malaysia. Malaysia, of course, is very advanced in all these Islamic tool, principle, element in creating new ideas. So to strengthen this position, and I thought that would be easier, to work in Malaysia first as a model. So we come up with this idea, but to use zakat, to use wakaf, to use hibah, sadaqah, to use all form of Islamic finance, halal. We are developing e-masjid in it, and to use the latest technology, financial technology, be it blockchain, be it digital currency, and whatever, and creating a special business online system for business transaction. And
Mm-hmm.
the idea also is not about creating this business sector. The idea is uh, building the new capacity. So training, education need to be provided for youngsters to go to become entrepreneurs, because without a proper platform, we will always fail in establishing something great. So ecosystem must be developed. Therefore, they would come, for some kind of a training program.
Mm-hmm.
We will identify potential youngsters, young mind, to be trained from the very beginning. Then for them to be doing a practical thing, and at the same time, we are creating something called World Islamic Center of Excellence, where creative economy in all sense. In fact, we are talking to a robotic association to see how we can even develop a robotic association using Islamic idea, using Islamic tool, yeah, and turning mosque to become a center for new activities. So I've the different idea about it, or how we want to use mosque in particular, to turn it into a real good center, not only for Muslim, even for non-Muslim, to make full use of it, to benefit into that. And at the same time, you have to go right to the people at the ground level, those people who are in need of all this. So a humanitarian section will be created as well, so that
Fantastic.
the money that come from this collection from zakat and wakaf and everything that will turn into a business kind of activities will be channeled toward this kind of humanitarian in the context of helping in the area of health, in the area of education, in the area of capital needs, and so on. So this is something that we are now talking, and Alhamdulillah, we got the approval from the government. Government is giving full support to us. In fact, they have got a license under Wakaf,
Oh,
already. We established already the Wakaf, the 8 Wakaf Malaysia Foundation already.
fantastic.
And many of the big Islamic economic agencies in Malaysia are partnering with us already. Like Yapim, Ministry of Jakim is with us. We got the approval from the Majlis Fatwa Wilayah Persekutuan, and it is all Sharia compliant. I'm very happy. Now we are trying to also work with different agencies in Malaysia, and later on we are going to expand it to state. We want to work also with the religious council of all
Mm,
state, so that we can bring all the center. Because the idea is this: the owner of this program is going to build a complex called D8 Center of Economic and Financial Economic Creative Economy and Finance Center in Kuala Lumpur, with complete conference meeting room, mosque, residential area, maybe broadcasting facilities, and then so whatsoever. That will be a center for all our activities, not only for Malaysia, but and we will have our own D8 secretariat there, inshallah.
fantastic. I consider it's all encompassing, Dato. And it's just like you are creating what I term is as the Islamic Sustainable Development Growth for the eight
Yes.
and the countries beyond the eight, which is for me, as I said, it's interesting, it's bold, and it's refreshing. Coming back to this, Dato, you have touched a lot here. The initiatives that you have done, all these initiatives you do, once you call it a day, because I mean, in terms of your tenureship as the Secretary General, it's supposed to end
Yeah.
somewhere in December this year, and I'm very interested because the time I met you was 8 months after you've been appointed, and now I'm talking to you 8 months before your tenureship end. So my question to you is, what will happen to all these initiatives once that you're not there anymore as the Secretary General? Would it be continued by your successor?
Well, okay, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning about the complete change of attitude, behavior, commitment from member state, I received good support from all members, and my successor will be coming from Nigeria this time around. And Nigeria, I think now has extended a lot of support. And in fact, for your information, we create this special D8 secretariat in Abuja already, with the
Oh,
support of the government of Nigeria, called D8 Health and Social Protection Program. They give us a huge, beautiful building there with all the
oh,
facilities, with the car, with the staff, with the doctors, with the expert. And we are
fantastic.
moving very fast. In fact, this is the fastest initiative that I was able to establish since I talked to the Nigerian government, and within 2 years we established it, complete with our office there. And
Hmm.
now we are talking about how we can work to address the COVID-19. If you look at our website, you can see all these COVID-19 visualizer. We talk about D8 and health entrepreneurship. And we are now even move quickly to partner with Chatham House from UK as our partner advisor to talk about the health issues. And we are partnering with ISDB. ISDB, in fact, appoint us as a consultant
Oh,
for the area of health in science and technology, health area. So we are given a grant. They ask us to appoint a consultant. So we have appointed our consultant, in fact, to come up with a study so that we can benefit from the funding facility to be extended by ISDB. So that thing moved very fast, and alhamdulillah. So I believe, and you look at Nigeria, they have so many great people now helming very important position in a world organization, world companies, and so on. So I'm sure they have very capable diplomat or capable person to continue with whatever that we are doing right now. Inshallah, inshallah. I believe and I'm confident that this will be
yeah.
continued.
From the tone of your voice, I am already more than excited about it, as I've said before. Now, coming back to this, there seems to be there is this leaders, D8 leaders summit coming up uh, in a few days' time. Can you talk about it? About what is this D8 leaders summit all about?
We have this mechanism that I would share with you the principal organ first, the way we work. Yeah, the first level is at the official level, where we have our commissioner. So a commissioner is appointed, from the senior government official from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and they must hold meeting twice a year to discuss, to approve, to decide, to consider, and everything. All our financial need, our decision, our project proposal, and so on. So twice a year, and then we have next level at council level. That is at the ministerial level of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They have at least meet once a year. To also approve the commission's decision. And then in once in 2 years' time, there will be a summit level at the leaders will come together, and they will also set a kind of a new vision
Mhm,
for the organization. Of course, to listen to all the good report to proceed further on the decision making process. Uh,
mhm,
so what we are going to have is the 10 summit on 8th April,
mhm,
inshallah. So we are now going to have it virtually. We plan to have a two-side event as well. There's going to be a business summit, and there's going to be a youth summit as well,
oh,
together with this
fantastic.
summit during this period from 5 to 8 April. So we are going to also talk a lot. We are going to invite also participant from different organization, from the UN bodies and other bodies to participate. So they will be the guests for the summit level. Yes.
I'm looking forward to see what the development will be then. Now, well, I'm just sad that we have got to end it soon. But before we end, there's a few things I need to ask from you, Dato. First of all, do you have any plans after post the 8 engagements?
I am an old man already now. Maybe there's time for me to retire. I mean,
Ah,
I retired officially 4 years ago. And, maybe there's time. I am I like actually to share ideas and views. I am now appointed an adjunct professor with two
okay.
universities, and I like to talk, share my experience, maybe a little knowledge that I collected along the way as a diplomat and also as a Secretary General. Perhaps that what I will do, and maybe spend some time also with my grandchild or something like that. But if there are interest from different parties, again,
Mm-mm.
to engage, to use this experience of mine, then I will be happy to do that.
Well, Dato, I mean, knowing you and seeing how you work, you would be possibly in the same league as I am. We don't have this word retire in our dictionary, Dato. I don't think so. You'll be retiring. You'll be participating in many forms, either as an advisor, a mentor, or even some way, somehow doing things all over. So I think this is actually premature for me to ask you that question. But then again, I need to ask you this question because I'm giving this notion that there's no such thing as retirement in your case. Now, the next thing is possibly a message. I mean, if so be it, yeah. But if it's so, your message to the leaders of the D8 member states, the top leaders of the, or even the ministers themselves, what is your message to them before you say goodbye, if you say goodbye at the end of this year? Can you share with us some of your uh,
Yeah,
aspiration?
well, at the last summit when I was introduced as the new Secretary General, I was able to listen to the call by the leaders, telling it need to work hard to have new dynamism.
Hmm.
Otherwise we will not be relevant. And dynamism is the word, and I keep that closely to my chest about having a new dynamism. I think if it is not in full term of dynamism, I believe what we are able to do here with my colleague at the Secretariat and with the commissioners, that we are working hard and we are changing the attitude, we are changing the mindset. We can see a different level of commitment now, and we are serious in the way we do things, and we are able to produce good result. And this dynamism now, I think, is right in front of us, and we have to continue because many reports, we are now included in all the reports. People want to hear us, if people want to hear our voice, and therefore we have to play this kind of a role, not only to have a better dynamism, but we have to aim that one day D8 not will only be a model for economic cooperation, but we will really emerge to be a real economic powerhouse. So this is the dream that I have. If I am able to to establish the platform, because it's whoever who's coming after me should continue to even build better platform, so that we will achieve this dream, and it will no longer be a dream. It should be a reality. Uh, One time, even if it take 100 years, we have to work hard to achieve that target.
Fantastic. You always jump the gun. You're always one step ahead of me because that's the question I want to ask you was what's your message to your successor? But you have already answered that as well. All right. Finally, your final word to everyone, Dato, before we say goodbye. So, what's your final say to everyone who's watching this discussion, this conversation?
Thank you very much. I think the message is simple. As we are a group of 8 Muslim countries, and we are Muslim, and of course we have also non-Muslim citizens who adhere to the principle of the eight principle and charter. And to me, we can work together anytime. It doesn't matter the differences, because if we set our mind together uh, positively on positive proposition, we can do it, and I believe we always can do it. And in the context of Islam, when we see this universe, Allah created this universe for every positive thing. Why should we go for negative thing? We should be doing thing, to have a positive result or the positive benefit, in order to have a better life for everyone here. So start forgetting about negative thinking, start forgetting about conflict, start forgetting about problem, wars, and things like that. So that's how I look at things here. And if this can be a message, then let us do it together as one citizen of this world.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dato. I mean, the principles of shared ownership, there's a lot of things I've learned
Yes,
from here: collaboration and cooperation, the Islamic sustainable development growth that you have mentioned in many ways. All these give us this impression that the future is bright if only we take positive actions towards it. So I would thank you again very much, Dato, for giving us this rare yet valuable opportunity this time around on digital platform. It's better for me to meet you, but then again, if it because of this COVID and things like that, we have to communicate through digital means, and it's workable. And there are also a lot of things actually that is not just brewing but is moving in with D8, and hopefully this interview can spark some lights, in fact can even initiate a very strong awareness and spirit, and trigger more positive actions of change or to change. And we wish you all the best, Dato. Hopefully I will see you in Colombo soon. All right.
thank you, and inshallah.
All right, Dato. All right, that's about it, my
Thank you.
friends. This is where we say
Yes.
goodbye to Dato. See you, inshallah, because the summit is coming in soon, and you'll be there on again digitally. We'll say thank you again to Dato. Thank you for everybody who's following us and listening to us and viewing our show. The International Affairs on NIZAL and Co. will have to say goodbye. I'm Nizal Mod signing off. Assalamualaikum and good night or good day.
Waalaikumsalam.